Hello, my name is Alec Osland, and I'm an attorney at the Analysts Law Firm. One of the most common questions that my clients ask me is, what's the difference of a will compared to a trust? Well, this video is going to talk about what the difference is in those documents. So if someone has a will at their death, a court hearing has to happen in order for those assets to pass into the terms of the will. That court process is called probate. So when a will has to be probated, what we do is we submit it to the court along with some other documents, and the court then has to set a hearing. And with this hearing, we'll have to supply notice to other interested individuals. We'll have to publish in the newspaper. And then once that hearing occurs, the court will normally appoint a personal representative. Now, this personal representative is going to have the power on behalf of the estate to start collecting assets of the decedent and managing any of their bills, taking care of any final expenses, things like that. One of the reasons that people don't like going through the probate process is because there is a lag time that can happen before that personal representative can get appointed by the courts. Since we have to provide notice to interested parties, we have to publish the hearing in the newspaper. Sometimes that hearing doesn't happen for 3 to 4 months until after someone can pass away. So there is a pretty significant lag time following after someone passes away before we can get someone appointed to manage their affairs. The big thing on that timeline, it's just going to matter how backed up the courts are. Another issue with probate are the added expenses. With the publication fees, the court fees, it can really kind of add up to make the administrative side of probate a lot more expensive. One thing a will also can do is it can nominate a guardian for any minor children. So in your will, we would use that document to state who would want to be the guardian of your minor children if you were to pass away. So what's a trust and how is it different than a will? So a will and a trust both indicate how you want to pass property at your death. But with a trust, we can try to avoid that court process entirely as long as your assets are titled correctly. So once you die, a successor trustee can take over right away, and there's no lag time. So it's an instantaneous, essentially, pass for that successor to come in. They can start managing your affairs. They can collect your assets. They can pay bills on your behalf. They can file your income taxes, and they can just essentially manage your estate much quicker than if we had a will and had to go through the probate process. So again, with the will, we have to wait multiple months before we can get someone in and appointed as personal representative. And then a trust, we can have them step in right away and start managing your affair. Another major difference is with a trust, we have the ability to appoint what happens at death, but we also have the ability to appoint what happens if you become incapacitated. So similar to a power of attorney, we can appoint someone to kind of step in and manage the assets that are in your trust if you become incapacitated. So that person can manage your financial affairs on your behalf. So there's a lot of different benefits that the trust can provide when looking at the trust versus the will. You can avoid probate at your death. You can then reduce a lot of the administrative fees just to transfer the property. Oftentimes a trust will cost a little bit more than a will package, just because there are a lot of other documents that have to go into the trust package compared to the will. So as I mentioned, the trust, the one drawback of it is a little more expensive, with that will package generally being a bit cheaper. But at the end of the day, both packages are going to allow us to transfer your assets to your loved ones.